What's up, Panga fans? This is your insider Sham Vasudevan. Today I'm joined by, well, this man needs no introduction, Mr. Charu Sharma here to tell us, well, rather break down the top two teams in the PKL 12 final. So we've got two, what I'm going to say, massive teams. Maneri Polton, former champions. And of course, the Dibang Delhi, the home team and season 8 champions. I mean, getting right into it, the fact that they played thrice this year and each and every one of those matches has gone down to a tiebreaker. The Dibang Delhi have won 2 of those. Do you feel like that gives them a slight advantage going into this final contest?
And one went to a golden raid as well. I mean, what are the chances that two teams would play each other 3 times and every time it would be a tiebreak? And that just brings me to my main point. How can we choose? We can't. But on pure statistics, of course, as you mentioned, maybe Delhi have done a shade better, maybe 1% better. But let's deal with them one by one. I think Puneri Polton have done extremely well once again. And the most important thing right at the beginning is that both teams know how to win. They've closed it out. In many sports we say that you may be leading, but can you close it out? Because it takes one kind of skill to lead, another kind of skill to close it out. Extreme self-confidence and extreme smartness. Because so many matches you've been watching all season are lost on the last raid or two because of a little hole in thinking. I think these two teams have done very well to get to the top. All right. Pune first.
Yeah.
One stat that we really like, which may or may not happen in the final, it could happen in virtually every match, is that they have the maximum number of all-outs. Sham, that's very important because once again it shows that they can close that out. You can get the opposition to maybe 3 or 2, and then you get a couple of, super tackles done, and they're back to strength again, and you've lost your opportunity. So to get those all-outs is a very important skill. Pune know how to do that. That's a big deal for me. Also, of course, in terms of their tackle points. They have very good raiders, but guess what? They have the most tackle points. So it shows that they're a fabulous all-round team. Now, they're not weighed one side or the other. To have a team that's known for wonderful tacklers altogether, and then have them for wonderful raiders, and yet finish up with the highest tackle points. I mean, what's going on with Pune? Well, they played very well. And also, I think you might want to remind everybody that there are 3 or 4 Pune players who have been playing together for very long.
A unit, yeah.
And that togetherness, that trust and confidence in each other, that makes a very big difference. You might want to tell people, of course, Aslam's there, he's the leader, but the other 3 or 4 who've been playing together.
From the Yuva Polton, they've been together for so long. Aslam Inamdar, the captain, Pankaj Mothi, a superb all-rounder. Aditya Shinde this time has been an absolute game changer. 22 points in that semi-final, of course. And you've got, well, I think the entire unit just comes together just so well. And of course, we've got Mohit Goyat, another great all-rounder. Comes in, Abhinesh Natarajan was part of that squad in season 10 when they won the title. Gaurav Khatri, one of our picks in Charu Sir's game of the season as well, on the right. I think that unit it's a very cohesive unit. They built together over the last 3 to 4 years, and that gives them that extra edge on the mat.
Without doubt, because they're not dependent on just one. They change very quickly, and the opposition is always wondering who's coming in next. Now, Aslam, I have very special regard for. He's done very well for many seasons now. But the one I was hearing the story, Pankaj Mohite has a wonderful story behind him. And he's such a live wire, and you have to appreciate where he's come from and where the PKL, well, I say PKL, but where his own skills have taken him thanks to the PKL. He's very comfortable now in life, and I'm so happy for people like that, really. I mean, my heart goes out from where they come and where they've now gone. So for Pune, I think that's very important. Their strength lies in their togetherness, in the width of their stars. They don't have 1 or 2, they have 4 or 5. That's a little rare for me, and which is why I think they are poised. No, they've got to the final and are poised to do very well. But there are a couple of weaknesses as well.
I mean, Pune do have a galaxy of stars. I think that one weakness is that slight ankle niggle that Aslam's been going through. He did tell us yesterday after they won the semi-final that, he had a slight niggle, was playing through pain, and coach Ajay Thakur insisted that he had to give his 100%. If not, Ajay was going to retire. And Aslam said, no, not today, coach. But that might just be a slight cause of concern for Pune.
Always is. Because, these guys are playing through a lot of pain. And I suppose that's the game, because I mean, there's so much hard tackling and so much hard running and so much shifting side to side, forward to back, that they're all carrying some kind of niggles. And I feel for the physio, or the physios, because the most important people in every team. You mentioned Ajay Thakur, who's done it at the highest level. I think that makes a very big difference, because he's been there, he's done that. I don't think he gets overly worked up. He's very player support. You know, he's not like player angry. He's player support, which makes a big difference, because when you know that Ajay, who's been there, has done that, is also for you. He's not shouting at you. He's not treating you with disrespect. Makes a very big difference. Also, Sachin in their team, I think the second weak point, just hasn't been getting enough mat time. What happens is, of course, he has great ability.
Yeah.
But when you haven't got enough mat time, what happens is you sometimes tend to do a little more than you should. You raid even 6 inches, a foot deeper than you want to, because you want to prove yourself. You got mat time now, you say, I'm the big star, I want to prove myself. And that extra effort at times is contrary to success. So they have to watch out, and they have to tell him, calm down. If he gets mat time, then you don't have to prove yourself. You're already a proven commodity. But if Aslam is 100%, I think he and the rest of his mates, and their togetherness is a big plus for the Puneri Paltan. And I'll remind you one last time that they've won before. They know how to close out seasons. They know how to close out finals.
And Shahrukh, of course, Puneri Paltans, well, challengers of the title. The home team, the Bang Delhi, also have a star on their crest.
They do.
Can they make that too?
Well, they're poised to. I think most people will think that Delhi, Dabang Delhi are favorites because they're playing at home. How much of a difference does that make? I think, over a long period of time, being involved deeply in the world of sport, I think it makes about a 3 to 5% difference in terms of advantage, because you're playing just in, it's not that they train at the Tyagaraja every day, but, they have home support. They know they're at home. People keep talking about the fact that Dabang Delhi are at home. So that gets to you. I think there are plenty of people in the Puneri Paltan also who are from the area, so they will have support, as it were. But yes, Delhi will have that 3 to 5% extra in terms of just being considered the home team. And they are, of course, playing in their own territory. So I think the franchise and everybody else will make a very special effort to make sure that they have a higher volume of support. So that makes a difference. But what is the key factor that has got Delhi to where they are now in the final? To get out of clutch situations. In Kabaddi, what are clutch situations? One of the main clutch situations is a do or die. Because, very often teams play for the third raid, do or die. And it's almost at times a sacrificial move that, okay, we give them 1 point in the do or die, but then we carry on thereafter. These guys have the highest. They have the, second most do or die raid points, which shows that when they get into that level of trouble, they can still pull it out. So that's a very special attribute, without doubt. The fact that they've done very well in do or die, because even in the final, I think, mind you, you heard it, I suppose you know it anyway, you're Kabaddi fans, there could be many do or die situations, because both teams, especially for the first 20, maybe even 30 minutes, 10 minutes into the second half, they might be more careful than a normal match. Because you don't want to be foolhardy, you don't want to be too adventurous. So there'll be a bit of defensive play, which means, to my mind, I think there'll be many more do or die raids than in the normal match in the final. And there, Delhi has done very well, so they will know that.
Absolutely. I think they have this sort of secret superstar, Ajinkya Pawar, comes off the bench, very underrated, comes off the bench in his crucial do or die moments, gets those 2-3 points there and sort of swings the tie back in their favor. But I think Charu is honestly the one thing that sets them apart. They have a leader in every single category. The coach, Joginder Narwal, season 8, was the captain of this team.
Stop right there. I talked about Ajay Thakur having been there, done that. So has Joginder, because he is clearly one of the best corners ever. His ankle catching was second to none. Now, he's not big and imposing and strong and athletic, but just very sharp with his movements, with his action, with his fast twitch, and of course, with his knowledge of the game. So that, I think, is a perfect counterfoil to Ajay Thakur. So when you mentioned Joginder, I said stop right there, because I think that balances out.
Absolutely.
Again, that's a 50-50 situation. We're trying to separate the two teams, but we'll see anyway.
So Joginder, coach, has been the captain for season 8 for the Bang Delhi. Took him the title now. 4 years on, he's now the coach of this team. So a leader right there. Then you've got in raiding a leader in Ashu Malik, Agent Ashu, who's been in fine form so far. And in defense, you've got two defensive superstars, Sultan Fazal Atrachali and of course Surjit Singh. I think the fact that they have these sort of leaders in every department makes sure they're always sort of sorted on the mat.
Let's get to the defense first. I think the Sultan, and gosh, what a long career he's had, and Surjit, both have been there forever. And these days we've seen that the Raiders particularly have shorter careers because I suppose, I don't know, maybe they have to do more work when they go in or whatever. But the defenders have lasted. Fazal has lasted. Surjit has lasted. They have a huge amount of experience. They are not going to be overawed of getting into yet another final. They've also won it before and so on and so forth. I think those two are very important. I would give maybe the defensive advantage to the Dabang Delhi team. Even though Fazal is not the force he was, but just the experience and the leadership that you mentioned is very important. I'm just a little worried if Ashu, as the leader of the attack, the raids, if he doesn't work too well, he's done very well this season, then do they have enough in terms of choice? Because that is a concern. And Ashu, of course, is also, everybody's carrying an injury. I think he too is kind of, well, he's going to have to come up with a superlative, superhuman effort.
Absolutely.
But does he have enough, or do the Dabang Delhi have enough in terms of options apart from Ashu? That I'm asking you.
But they do have a couple of really key clutch performers again. They've got Neeraj Narwal, who stepped up time and again when, Ashu's been off color a couple of games. Neeraj just stepped in, given those big performances. We've got a very young Korean Akshit, a very young raider, a lot of potential there. Ajinkya, of course, is a great option. I think they've got these sort of, I'm going to say, great backup squad that can really uplift the team in case Ashu doesn't live up to sort of expectations. But I think Ashu, considering it's a big match, it's a virtual do or die, go big, take the trophy home, or just go back home empty-handed, should give it 120% tomorrow.
He will, but there's an opposition as well. They're also wanting to win. So I think it's a wonderful situation for a backup raider to be the big star for the next season. You mentioned a couple of names. You mentioned Neeraj, Ajinkya. I think it's their time to prove that they can step up. In case Ashu is, they'll be targeting him.
Absolutely.
Make no mistake about that. They'll be going at him really hard. And if he's already a touch injured, then he'll be favoring himself. He doesn't want to get injured in the middle of the game. That upsets strategy. So it's these other two raiders. For them, if they can have a good match and even win the title, I think they'll be hot properties next season. But I think I'll go back to the main point. You mentioned 2 or 3 things. That's the key for Dabang Delhi. They've got good leaders in every situation, calm thinkers, and I do think that they know how to close it out as well, just like Patna and Pune, beg your pardon. And finally, going back to that same point again, I think they've gotten themselves out of, or they've handled clutch situations really well. Because the final, frankly, is one giant clutch situation. Because it is the final, and there are nerves, there are all sorts of things, butterflies in the stomach. Even when they get to the arena, of course, we know that it's very important for those butterflies to fly in formation. They'll be there, there'll be nerves, but as long as they're flying in formation. So overall, I think that's what Delhi is all about, just getting out of tough situations. But, on the other hand, people might say, why do you get into tough situations or just bail yourselves out? And Puneri Paltan will test them by getting them into tough situations time and again. And I mentioned once again, as I mentioned at the top, that you'll find a lot of third raids in the final because players, both the teams will be playing a little carefully, saying don't give the advantage away. Try and hold on and do the best you can in a do or die raid, where we know that they're second best. Dabang Delhi have done very well. It's going to be a fascinating contest, without doubt. And yet, as I've said before, maybe I just like the contrary opinion. Now, I think a very large percentage, I'll admit, maybe 70-75% people say Dabang Delhi because they've done so well in leadership and this and all of the stuff that we've talked about. But that's why I'll take the underdog, Puneri Paltan. So we'll see how that goes. But both teams have done very well, and my sincerest appreciation to the fantastic kabaddi they've dished out all season long, because ultimately, of course, one team will win, one team will not, but we have to look at a wider picture. And I think the wider picture is that they have kept the standards of kabaddi very high. They've got the spectators, the fans of kabaddi glued to all these matches.
Absolutely.
And we have to thank these 2 finalists for that.
Well, I think there's no better way to say it or to end this video than just say thank you. Kind of kabaddi you've shown us over the last 2 odd months, and we'll do a high five to end it.
There you go.
Yes.